Hi, how's it going? Welcome to Down with Dis, videos where we dive into the highs and lows of living with a disability and together find our way to the center of the two extremes. My name is Miguel and today is our second part of the video with my friend Edwin here, who's
Hello.
Interviewing me for a class. Again, he doesn't want to be on camera. So it's fine, I guess.
Maybe,
but
maybe on the next one.
Well, maybe on the next one. But yeah, this has been kind of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the first part. So let's get going with the second part.
We mentioned a little bit about school and stuff. Would you have any like motivational, like a motivational speech, phrase, something that you would like to tell others with disabilities, like hey, college is an option, because there might be students that see it as a social thing where they might feel they don't fit in.
Right.
Would there be anything that you would recommend, or?
I don't know if a motivational phrase would be the right way to put it, but I would definitely tell them to go for it. I think my main thing is not to be afraid to put yourself out there, and I've said this continuously because I was that person. Like, for me, the social aspect of going to college was the most difficult part, just because I didn't know. I think I knew 2 people when I started going to college, and then I started making friends from there, but it was only through like joining clubs or different organizations on campus that I kind of learned how to navigate that awkwardness, because there are people who don't know how to react to people with disabilities. It's not necessarily that they want to be rude or that they're trying to be rude, but it's just the fact that they've never interacted with someone with a disability, right? So they're like, oh, is there a certain way that we're supposed to are we gonna hurt you in any way? Or it's more of a cautionary thing rather than like, oh, I'm just gonna be a about it, at least in my experience anyway. But yeah, so I mean, if the social aspect is keeping you from college, I say fight the fear and go for it, because by the end of it, it'll be so worth it, and you'll get to know yourself a lot more through the process as well. So yeah.
Was there points where like you didn't feel welcomed? Like you mentioned clubs, where you were in clubs where at first you did not know like what did I get myself into, or? Yeah.
I would say every club that I was involved with at first, that was initially the first thought that always went into my head. But I think it's more of, and this was a pattern for me like all through my life, like I would always project my own, I guess, insecurities regarding my disability on other people. So I think that's what my issue was, like that I would be like, oh, like I don't know the same things as they do, or like they don't understand me, but it was just me kind of casting a bad light on them, and it wasn't until, like I mentioned in the past question, that I learned to be like, wait a second, like they're like really kind people, like I need to put forth more of an effort if I want to feel welcome and feel integrated, right?
And like, not only like the disability, but did you feel like culture gets involved in it too? Like a Latino with a disability, like how would others perceive it? Like,
oh man, that's a good question. Man, these are like, all of good questions that I didn't even think about.
Yeah, like well, I guess like, did you feel judged differently than others with disabilities?
Oh, than others with disabilities? Man. Not necessarily judged differently, but judged the same. Does that make sense? So I guess like yeah, I don't know. As far as like being Latino with a disability, there is kind of that added stigma, I feel like, culturally, and like in Mexico it's not as widely I don't want to say accepted because it's accepted, but it's not. Man, it's not seen. Man, it's not seen the same way.
Yeah.
It's seen kind of more still in the negative light of more of like, oh, it's something that we have to fix. It's something that's wrong with you. Whereas here, there's still some of that, but with information at our fingertips, I feel like that's helped kind of ease that. Oh, like, you mean what he has isn't contagious? Oh, that makes me feel better, So like things like that. There's like a bug up there that I'm just like noticing. I'm like,
And like, would you say there's opportunities that we're missing, like at a university? Like, is there clubs that you wish would have been made? Is there something you wish there was?
No. I maybe that's like a lame answer, but I mean, I think I was fortunate in the sense that at least when I went to college, I did join the clubs that I wanted to be part of, or like the ones that were available. Yeah, and then I was fortunate, and I guess the friends that I made, that like if a club was missing, then they made it, so I didn't have to worry about it. Like, yeah, not per se, like it wasn't like anything like, oh, I wish there was a club for people with disabilities.
Yeah, like, how would you feel about that? Like, if it was a specific club for disabilities, like...
Well, I don't know if there actually is one. I mean, I think it would be...
Would you say, like, people with disabilities, like, feel uncomfortable? Like, it's just focused on them where they just want to feel normal with everybody else?
Ooh, that's like opening a can of worms. I think it depends on each person. So I'll take it...
How would you perceive it?
How would I perceive it? I mean, so I think first off, if there's like clubs or organizations specifically for people with disabilities, I think it's great to build that community that I mentioned is sometimes missing. What I think the danger with sometimes those types of clubs, with anything, it doesn't even have to be with disabilities, but I noticed this with, like I said, other clubs, that like you kind of get into this bubble, right? You kind of build that camaraderie with the people that you're involved with, and that you don't really kind of interact with like, outside people outside that club.
Yeah.
So I think that's the danger, especially with people with disabilities, because I feel like as hard as it is, part of the, I guess, I don't know, mission, part of what kind of I mean, speaking for myself, part of what has enriched my life, I think, is being able to interact with people different than me, or like abled people, right? So I've never been one to kind of want to shy away from like, oh, I'm comfortable here, so I'm not going to talk to them. I think that if you have a disability, you kind of almost need to talk with other people to reduce that stigma. If not for yourself, then for other people coming behind you, like in the next few years. Because if there is that stigma, then you can do something to kind of like chip it away, or like change somebody's perspective. And then the next time they see somebody, they'll be like, oh, he reminds me of that guy or that girl that I talked to. I'm gonna be a little bit nicer, or I understand him a little bit more. Kind of like those things.
Would you say you yourself as a graphic designer, would you want to advertise it, like create stuff for it?
Yeah, why not? I mean, I think the way I look at it, it's part of my identity, and I've never shied away from it. So, I mean, maybe rephrase that. I guess I've never shied away from it, even though I've never been so comfortable as I am now. Like when I was younger, I would never be doing this. So I think I've grown to kind of embrace it. But yeah, I mean, as far as, sorry, there's like the sun glare right here that I'm like, as far as like designing something for organizations with people with disabilities, I would love to. Like, the client of mine right now works with people with disabilities, and that's what made me want to help them even more with their kind of visual identity.
And seeing the way you think, like, have you ever thought about like creating your own nonprofit or something, like your own program?
Oh, definitely. So especially I think you asked me kind of where I see, one of the previous questions was where I saw myself in the future. Yeah. I think that is one of the goals that I have, and especially with these videos in the future, is I hope that one day to create like a type of foundation or even like a scholarship for people with disabilities. Yeah. I feel like that's my goal with this. So yeah, because I know like money's tough, and then on top of that your disability, so I mean any way I can help, I think that's my goal.
And like now growing as an adult, like has it been a struggle? Has there been the emotional times?
As far as like growing with a disability,
like as far as growing with disability, anything really like impactful, I guess. Like
well, I mean definitely there's been some definite emotional times. I think I've cried many times. Well, no, actually not so much in these videos, but no, they're the first time for everything. No, I think man, I'm trying to think. I think it's just that constant fear of not being good enough. Even, you know, you think you outgrow these problems. And speaking for myself, like I thought I was like, okay, I've dealt with that in middle school, you know, and then they just kind of keep coming back, and then you're like, oh crap, that's still very real. So anything from like, you know, like what I can do, like I don't know, like in the future, like how my disability is gonna impact if I have a family or stuff like that. So like just starting to think about that has like put my mind at a different way of thinking. So that's been a little bit rough. Just kind of revisiting my limitations that I thought that I dealt with. But yeah, and then just, I mean, again, just with design, just the regular stresses that come with kind of starting a business from scratch. I feel like I've been extremely fortunate to be in the position that I've been. But it's been rough. It's been like I've been so stressed. I've never been so stressed in my life. Just because it's so much responsibility and just kind of navigating all the businessy stuff that maybe I should have taken that business class. But yeah, it's like a work in progress. But yeah, so definitely a lot of emotional times, but I think for the best.
And I think it's great to see like you've grown out of it, like where you've landed right now. It's like you've become a role model
in my room /office /design studio.
But like you've grown to be a role model for others.
Oh.
Like as you mentioned, the subscribers, people have reached out. Like
yeah.
I think that's very like motivational for others to see.
Thanks.
Like it could just lead any direction really.
Yeah, like I said, I have no idea, but I mean I hope that it's helping people. Yeah, somehow. I don't even know. But yeah, I guess. And just like that, that's the end for this video. Thank you, Edwin. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to give it a big like, subscribe if you haven't already, and help me in giving disability a little bit more visibility by sharing this video with someone who will enjoy it or might benefit from hearing this message. Like always, I hope you have a great rest of your day, or rest of your week, and I'll see you on the next one.